everyone. So I'm going to try and share this screen. Can everyone tell me if they're seeing it properly? I'm going to go into the presentation. Let's see if this works. Okay. Are we seeing that? Is that okay for everyone?
Yes, perfect.
Excellent. Awesome, awesome. Welcome everyone to this training on the MTHFR, or the mother trucker genetic mutation. Apparently that is what is affectionately known in the circles for naturopaths, because it is a bit of a pain in the butt to deal with. However, tonight we are going to demystify this, particularly in your AO scan, so give you some markers to look for, and also then some solutions to help you move through it and to support yourself if you have this. Now, I just asked before if anyone could add to the chat if they've actually been diagnosed with having this, or had checked that they have this. And I don't know if I can see the chat, so that's funny, isn't it? Let me see if I can go back out and just get the chat up. All right, let me just see what everyone said. Yes, I have two. Fiona, MTHFR shows them scans all the time, Bron. That's what happened to me as well. And so I got officially tested, confirmed both strains via blood test in 2016. Katie, yes, shows up my scans often, but I haven't been tested, Robin. Sons haven't been blood tested, but I know they have it. Katie, that possibly me. Yeah, you've got it too then. And yeah, okay, what is it? All right, well, we're going to get into that one. So let's, I'll share this again and let's go. All right, so the first question, what is MTHFR? So methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase is MTHFR, and it's an enzyme that breaks down the amino acid homocysteine. So remember that word. We'll be coming back to that a bit tonight. If the MTHFR gene, it is the MTHFR gene that codes for this enzyme mutates, it may contribute to a variety of health conditions ranging from depression to some cancers. Now, that's why it's called the MTHFR genetic mutation, okay? And what we're looking for, now, yeah, anyway, it'll come up. So this is an enzyme that converts folate from your diet into an active folate called 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate. And when this happens, your body uses this form of folate to produce hundreds of chemical reactions. This is important to have good health. Some of these chemical reactions are, I thought that I proofread this, but clearly I didn't. So you can see some of the spelling mistakes in here, apologies. All right, so the ability to use and make active folate, the ability to use other vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, and amino acids that work with folate. Ability to recycle homocysteine to maintain proper methylation for good health, the ability to produce essential neurotransmitters vital for good mental health, the ability to make proper DNA and RNA and SAMe, the ability to form red blood cells and white blood cells, and many more chemical reactions that lead to healthy outcomes. So we can start to see the importance of this as we go, can't we? This is, yeah, sorry about my partner. Stop, sit, thank you. Okay, I may have to put her upstairs. All right, so MTHFR methylation is a process or combination of all the active reactions that we've just listed. And this is that your body properly, sorry, I'm not reading this very well, but anyway, basically this is what it allows your body to do. So it tells your various genes when to turn on and off. It tells your body when to turn on and off your stress response, turn on and off your various enzymes, helps your body to detoxify properly, controls how our neurotransmitters works, helps produce energy, produces powerful antioxidants that prevent aging, tells your body when and where to repair tissue damage, turns off inflammation, and many more communications that control our overall health and well-being. So it's a pretty important function, and you might have already started to see some of the things that might be out of balance for you with this as well. So MTHFR is a powerful enzyme and is vital to many areas of our health and can influence our health in major ways. Those that have this enzyme working properly are typically healthier because they are able to carry out these bodily functions normally. So common health conditions that result from MTHFR gene mutation. There are a lot, as you can see here. So we've got alcohol withdrawal seizures. Now, I'm also going to say with that I'm very sensitive to alcohol, and I didn't realize that for a really long time, but I am, and I know that now because I don't drink a lot, and when I do, it doesn't work well in my body, and we'll get to why that is. Autism, increased risk of blood clots, cardiovascular or coronary artery disease, which comes with all of those things that are listed there. Colorectal neoplasias, I have no idea what that is, you can look it up. MTHFR, anxiety disorder, dementia and memory loss, depression, anxiety and or irritability. We can have developmental delays, hypertension, high homocysteine levels or low homocysteine levels, increased breast cancer risk, infertility and miscarriage. Now that's huge, because what are we told to have when we are pregnant? We're told to have folate, and as we'll get to a little bit later, normal folate for someone who has MTHFR is actually toxic. And Beck actually did a post on this about her mum just recently, and I have a story of a friend who was pregnant and taking folate and extremely anxious, couldn't get out of her car, was having anxiety attacks. When I looked at her pregnancy one, sorry, I'm just going to let a couple more people in. When I looked at her pregnancy vitamins, they were fine. They had the methylated form, but she was also told to up her folate, and she was taking a megafolate that wasn't methylated. So I said to her, stop the folate, find a methylated form of it. And as soon as she stopped it, it stopped her anxiety and everything attacks. Now, she was really lucky. She didn't miscarriage, but she could have. So this is how important this is. So methylene tetrahydrofolate deficiency, so you've got a deficiency in that. Neural tube defects, because we're told to take folate for cerebral palsy to overcome that, but it can also, cause deficiency in that. Just get everyone to mute as you come in, please. Reduced lean body mass and increased body fat, schizophrenia, stroke, and we have a whole heap more. So these are the symptoms, and I'm going to let you read through these yourself, but these are for undermethylation symptoms, because we have undermethylation and we have over. I'm not really going to go too much into that tonight, but you can take a look at these and see what that is. I'm actually going to take that down to just me. Okay. So you can see there's a whole list there. And then if we look into the mental illness side of things, there's a lot there as well. So you've got to start to wonder if, if some of these things are being caused by just this issue, and then that actually gives me a lot of hope. So we heard before that, neurotransmitters are affected by this. And this is because the brain requires optimal functioning. So we need the folate, we need the Bs, we need the amino acids, we need the essential fatty acids. And if the body's not getting all of these things, then this is what's going to happen. So we've got depression, anxiety, mood swings, bipolar, ADD, suicidal thoughts, OCD, all of these different things, learning difficulties, addictive behaviors, and schizophrenia. We have two different gene types, and you will see these in your scanner. I'm going to show you that in just a second. So we have the heterozygous, which is one copy of the gene from either parent. We have the homozygous, which is one copy of the gene from each parent. So these are percentages of reduced ability to produce MTHFR. So if you have the C677T heterozygous, we've got a 40% loss of function. If you've got the other one homozygous, 70% loss of function. Then we have the 1298C, A1298C. We've got a 10% for heterozygous loss of function, and for the homozygous, we've got a 40% loss of function. If you have both, they compound to a 50% loss of function. Now, I believe I actually have both. So I think someone else on in the chat also said that they had both. So that's a 50% loss of function, which is huge. Okay, so we really need to be addressing this. All right, so tonight we're going to cover off on the top 10 markers in your AO scan for MTHFR. There are others. Okay, so I will speak to what I see in my scanner for myself as well, and what I look for, but these are the markers that we're going to cover off on, and these are the ones that you're going to be able to see tonight. So what I would suggest is actually getting your scanner out if you can. So I know some of you might be on your phone and you're not able to do that, but if you can, bring up your vitals scan from today and let's see what's showing up. All right, so first one is the most obvious one. We have the MTHFR in there. If there's any dramas with this not showing up or anything, can you unmute and tell me? Because I can't see the chat, so because I'm in presentation mode. So yeah, just...
You're all good and it looks amazing so far.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Thanks, Beck. You're back. That's great. Because I just know sometimes I can go off on a tangent and it might not working and everyone's going, it's not working. So thank you. Okay. So we have the MTHFR, and as you see, the heterozygous and the homozygous and the A1298C and the C677T. So this is the most obvious. What I will say here, I have the MTHFR genetic mutation. This does not always show up for me. If my body is under stress, if I haven't eaten properly, you know, if something else is going on for me, it will show up. But if everything's relatively normal, then these will come up clear. So what I always say to people is run a few scans. Again, we're always looking for the patterns, okay? And it might not come up in your first scan, but it might in your second and might not in your third. But if you see consistently this coming up, and a few of you already said that in the chat, that is actually what prompted me to go and get tested. I had been alerted to it many, many years ago, but I didn't realize this is what it was. So I'd always suspected it, but I didn't get it confirmed until it kept showing up in my scanner so consistently that I couldn't ignore it anymore. So if that's you, now to get tested for it, you can get a blood test. I believe you can do a saliva test as well. The blood test, you can actually go to your doctor and ask for it. And when I did mine, I haven't checked this recently. You didn't get charged for it, and the cost is $80. You didn't get charged for it unless if you did have it, but if you don't have it, they will charge you the $80. Okay, so if you have it, you suspect that you have it, you're pretty sure that you do, just go and get it tested and then you know for sure. All right, so folate, vitamin B9 deficiency. So this is another sign for you to look for. When you have some of the signs for this are anemia. I have chronic anemia. I also have pernicious anemia, which is a B12 anemia. Eczema, I don't suffer from that. I do have cracked lips. I have prematurely graying hair, always have, started graying when I was 21. I don't think I really have anxiety, but there's tension, poor memory, maybe. Lack of energy at times, blood clots, poor appetite, stomach pains, depression, neural tube defect, infertility. I didn't have any other infertility. Blood cells that are odd shaped and misarranged. And sometimes I do have those in my live blood analysis. And you will find this folate and all of your Bs in here under your vitamins and coenzymes. I'm pretty sure you all know where they are, so that shouldn't be too much of a stretch for you. Now, this is all vitals as well, guys. I'm pretty sure you know that as well. All right, homocysteine. You are going to look for homocysteine under inflammation oxidation. And again, you can see here, this was from my report. There's a 9. It's come back into balance, but you might see that consistently where it's out of balance. So further elevated homocysteine in their blood or imbalanced levels of homocysteine, elevated folate levels on a blood test can be the result of a dysfunctional MTHFR gene mutation and can vary from person to person, but that is one of your markers to keep an eye on. Vitamin B deficiency symptoms. So again, we've got a massive list here and you can run your eyes over that. I know for me, there's quite a few in there, and a lot of them cross over with the ones that I've just read from the folate as well, and folate is a vitamin B. So you may be able to find a few things on there. I know for me, if I read through that, you know, I've definitely got the cracked lips, anemia, like I said before, migraines come up for me, insomnia. A lot of this stuff's cleared up with the scanner, thankfully, but yeah, there's definitely different things there. There's another page of this as well. So we've also got, what else on here for me? And are you seeing anything? Just pop in the chat if you're seeing anything there that makes sense to you, particularly if you are, you know, suspecting but not confirmed that you have it. Again, this is where you find your vitamin B, so you'll find them in there. And when I'm looking for vitamin Bs to be out over here. And you can see there's a fair swag of them out of over here for me. And folate, yeah, didn't even come back into balance after the scan. And that will consistently happen for me if my body's out of balance. All right, so choline is another one. So choline is a nutrient that supports bodily functions, including cellular growth and metabolism. Choline deficiency can lead to health conditions such as cardiovascular disease or muscular damage. So high blood cholesterol, LDL-C direct, and fat, LDL-P, are indicators of choline deficiency. You can also look for fatty liver, so you can monitor your liver markers. We have a whole section on liver and gallbladder in the vitals. Nerve degeneration, high blood pressure, vascular resistance, atherosclerosis, and senile dementia. Also can lead to reduced resistance to infection or lowered immunity. So if you're finding that your immune system is a bit low, then that's something that you can look for as well. Another thing, just as an overarching, when we're not getting the Bs that we need and not processing the Bs properly in our body is not detoxing. Okay, so that will come up, you know, in the thing as well. And so this is another area to know for yourself. If there's a lot of inflammation, then that can be what it is. And that's why the liver markers are also often showing up, as our liver's not coping. The other thing that can be showing up is thyroid. Now, a lot of these things I thought were thyroid because there is a lot of crossover between some of these symptoms and thyroid. But it could be, and thyroid is one of our master detox glands in the body as well. So liver and thyroid are really good indicators of potentially something being out of balance with this as well, okay? So this is where you'll find your LDL-C direct and LDL-P. So we've got the LDL-C direct, so this is under blood lipids, which is up pretty much after your food sensitivities, our blood lipids come in. And then we've got the LDLP, which is down here as well. So you might have a look for that being those being out of balance as well. Okay, inositol. I'd never even heard of this before doing this research. So this is a type of sugar that is similar to glucose. It can be made through the body and we can take it in through the diet. The body needs this to form the structure of cell membranes and to regulate your insulin levels. So it may also affect neurotransmitter levels. Okay, so symptoms of this, irritability, insomnia, nervousness, hyperexcitability, reduction in nerve growth and regeneration. Okay, so a low HDL level, so good cholesterol, could indicate an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. Okay, so we don't want that to be getting too low as well. And finally, we have amino acids. So these are the building blocks of life and they're essential to good health. Those who have the MTHFR gene mutations have complex problems that cause building block imbalances. So here are just some of the main building blocks that are affected by MTHFR, the genetic mutation problem. So we've got methionine, and this is a massive one, and it can be a funny one because it can be too high and it can be too low with the MTHFR. So it's a bit of it's a tricky one. So I'm always looking for things that are out of balance. Okay, so when we have our numbers, I'll go to that in a second actually. So L-methionine is an essential amino acid needed for many bodily functions, including building new proteins, supporting DNA activity and repairing tissues. It also has a vital role of helping cells neutralize free radicals, toxins that damage tissues and lead to conditions like cancer. This can be high or low with this genetic disorder. That's what I mentioned before, right? So our methionine might be high or low, and you might also have to look to diet to balance that out. But it's one of the most important building blocks affected by the gene, and this is because methionine is involved in methylation. So the meth part of it should give you the clues, and maintaining the homocysteine cycle. All right, so it's a really major one. And then we also have glycine. So glycine is an amino acid that helps build proteins needed for tissue. I'll just get you to mute if you've just come in. Sorry, I can't see you to do it. So needed for tissue and hormone maintenance. More glycine may help support heart and liver health, right? So again, we're coming back to that liver. Improve sleep, I definitely need that. Reduce diabetes risk and reduce muscle loss. Symptoms of glycine deficiency: low energy or fatigue, blood sugar imbalances, hypoglycemia, anemia again, chronic fatigue, poor digestion, and further manic bipolar depression, cancer, mental health disorders, uric acid toxicity, phenolic and benzoic acid. So I don't know what that was actually meant to say, something else in there. So yeah, it's a big one as well. And we want to be looking at that also. And there we go. So that's our amino acids in the nutritional analysis part. I love the amino acids because you can see here my methionine was out there and the glycine was okay, it was in balance. I often use the amino acids to actually let me know what foods that I actually need to add into my diet as well, because if I'm, low on those. But the next thing we're going to be looking at is actually gut health. And so if your gut health isn't there, then your amino acids are not going to be broken down. Okay, so we'll have a look at that now. The other thing that I just wanted to say to you is when I am looking at this as a whole, the numbers can be read in different ways. So this number 2 for my methionine could mean that it's been a chronic issue for me, or it could mean that my methionine is low, but I'm not going to take it necessarily that it's as low because it could mean that other thing. And when it's high on that 8 or 9, it could mean that it's acute, right? So in the moment right now, or inflammation, or it could mean that it's high, all right? So I look at it through the lens of it's an imbalance and there's something that needs attention there. So I hope that you understand that too. And then of course we can use things like muscle testing to confirm that and to, take that further. But that's how I look at it as a start anyway, before I start to dig deeper into that. All right, and finally, gut health. So like I just said, digestive health is often very much compromised with the genetic mutation. I found that for myself. So we might see hydrochloric acid decreased levels, so that it shows up, HCl shows up in a couple of different places in the scan. Protein metabolism, that might be another marker that will show up under your digestive area. Amino acids, like we've already covered. Your enzymes, and your enzymes are what helps break down all of these things, like the proteins and all the things, and your amino acids. And then the actual digestive function. So you would have seen things like the peristalsis, small intestine peristalsis under your digestive area. So all of those things tend to come into play. So that is definitely something that I look for. And one of the biggest things that I look for, probably more so in the inner voice, because our imbalances and suggestions gives us so much information in there. So if I'm seeing enzymes, HCl show up, hydration's another big one, because often I think the MTHFR goes with the hydration as well, because we need the extra minerals because we're not processing those or we're burning through them too quickly. What are the other things? Sometimes in the inner voice, you will also have the vitals section. And so in the vitals, my Bs will start to show up, or the person that I'm working with, the Bs will be there. So as soon as I start to see folate in the Bs or as potential causes, or the imbalances and suggestions, those things starting to come up, liver detox, all of these things, I'm thinking in my head, let's check the MTHFR. So then I'll flick over to the vitals report, and then I will start to look at these other ones and go a little bit deeper. But I've already got a bit of an idea that it might be a problem. And sometimes in the vitals, it'll actually even bring up the MTHFR, like the straight gene. Not very often, but sometimes. So that's another clue to start to work with it, from a base level. Okay, so we also have some medical markers. Now, I know this is a lot of information, guys, but I'm hoping you're finding it good. So these are some of the things that if you have your bloods done and they come back, you can start to look for. We also have a scan in the scanner, which can help with this, and the vitals also looks at this as well. Okay, so, but these are some actual figures. So we've got your B12, if it's below 500 levels. Check if you have elevated red cell folate levels. Then we have chronic low white blood cell count, neutrophils and lymphocytes. Now they're in our vitals as well, and they're also in our body systems chemistry scan. So you can also look at these through that lens as well. Do you have an increased mean corpuscular volume, so MCV, greater than 90? So obviously you would need a blood test to get these numbers. If you have an increased red blood cell distribution width, so RDW, greater than 13%. But each of these you can be looking at in your vitals in the AO scan as well. Do you have low hemoglobin? So less than 140 grams per litre for males, 135 grams per litre for females. Again, homocysteine coming back again, levels over 7 to 8 are considered high count. High levels over 12 indicate a B12 deficiency. Okay, and so then you also increase creatinine and kinase. So you can look at those, go back to blood tests even, and look for those markers as well. So sometimes that's really handy to have. Also, I've found that often having this type of information is great, because sometimes the doctor's ranges are a little bit off and they'll say you're normal when you're not. So anyway, I thought that was quite handy. So this is our medical markers shown in the body systems chemistry. And like I said, a lot of those, the RDW, the white blood count, and a few of the others, MCV, they're all found in your vitals also. But this is nice because it actually shows us up and down with the arrows. So you can start to track through that as well, to go that little bit deeper. You can see for me, there's thyroid stuff coming up there. That's an indicator for me. What else did I see in here? ALT, that's to do with the liver, that's down, not functioning as well as it could be. Hemoglobin as well, my blood counts was okay, but your eosinophils and monocytes on this particular day were a bit out as well, which was another marker that was picked up in that one too. Okay, so I've given you the bad news, so let's look at what the good news is, and that is that we can actually help to support ourselves, and in a lot of cases, it doesn't have to be hard, even though I know that was a lot of information and there's a lot of, a lot of nasty symptoms and different things, but there is help. All right, so the first thing we're going to look at is your food. So, go back, please. All right, so we've got foods that are high in natural folate. So we can actually process the natural folate. It's a synthetic form that is really deadly to us. So this means things like dark leafy greens, such as spinach and kale, and legumes such as beans and lentils, broccoli, asparagus, and avocado. Now, if you're having trouble digesting these, we need to look at gut health first, okay? And start to get onto those digestive health, and I will speak more to that in the supplement side of things. So vitamins B6 and 12 are also crucial, and these work alongside the folate and the methylation cycle. So we need to be looking at foods that contain all of those as well. Foods to avoid, and I think this is the biggest one that we probably need to be paying attention to. I know for myself, there's a gluten intolerance in my family. My sister's actually celiac and I don't do well on gluten. Now, this is one of the things that will likely come up as well, and I do ask people about that generally when I'm working with them as well. But folic acid is added to many fortified breads, cereals, pasta, and other grain products. So grains are not our friends, so we want to check that carefully. And why is folic acid being added to our food? I do not know, but anyway, reduce intake of inflammatory foods such as sugar, gluten, refined grains, dairy, trans fats, and processed snacks. Now, I think that should just be the norm for everyone anyway, but you know, we need to be super vigilant about it when we have this MTHFR genetic mutation. And it says here, those with gluten sensitivity and MTHFR can suffer a double blow, as the symptoms can both amplify one another, and it's a major cause. Gluten is a major cause of inflammation in the gut lining and the microbiome. And I know that after I've eaten gluten, because I don't stay off it all the time, when I'm out, I'll tend to have some. That's when my markers start to show up again as well, because that's my body under stress. Supplementation. So ideally, obviously, we would love to get everything through our diet. However, when we have the MTHFR genetic mutation, we are often not processing our food properly, okay? And it's not necessarily, we're not digesting it properly. So sometimes having the supplementation is necessary. And actually, I'm going to say that I supplement for this daily, because I know it's something that I have, and I know that it's not something that I can change. And so that is just one of my things. So L-methylfolate, so this is a methylated version of the folate. We have B6 and B12, but again, we want them activated, okay? So we're not just taking your standard vitamin Bs, we need them methylated. Trimethylglycine, so we mentioned glycine earlier, and betaine, NAC, taurine, and omega-3s. I've added in here as well hydrochloric acid, digestive enzyme, which is betaine is HCl as well, digestive enzymes, collagen, probiotics, and greens powders can also, because as we saw before, all of those dark leafy greens are helpful if we can digest them properly and we don't have the gut health issues. All right, so when you're balancing your MTHFR mutation with supplements, we can also add these others, which are really helpful. So we've got glutathione. It's a great one to support the body, and it diminishes. Okay, so most people have a bit of a problem with glutathione, to be honest, but it diminishes greatly if you're not methylating properly. Liver support supplements, so things like NAC, that's why that was on there. Alpha lipoic acid, we've got milk thistle and selenium. These are all really good. Yeah, so they're excellent to help to support the liver. You'll often see liver detoxes coming up on the imbalances and suggestions in your inner voice one as well. You just have to be a little bit careful because we don't detoxify very well, that you are supporting yourself with these other things as well and having liver support rather than just detoxifying all of the time, because sometimes we can't get those toxins out of our system. So increasing magnesium as well. So I'm taking magnesium morning and night at the moment, just because I know, and that also then helps keep things moving as well. So it helps to support the detoxification process. Yeah, also provides cell with what they require to pump out toxins before, during, and after they accumulate. So that's a really good one to help with. And finally, we have environment. So reducing your toxic burden is a big one. So we should try to get that down as possible. Now we can look at things like your food, your normal things, right? So we've got your food. So if you can get good quality organic and spray-free food, that's an amazing way to help to detoxify your environment. But also we've got things like, heavy metal things. You might want to do a heavy metal chelation, getting that out of you. But you can also do things like filtering your air. So as we know, there's a lot of nasties in our air at the moment because lots of different things are happening there, aren't they? There's lots of nice like white lines in our skies quite frequently, and we have no idea what they're pumping into us, or we do, but yeah. Filtering your water, because again, all of that's settling into our water systems. We have tank water. I'm under no illusion that still needs massive filtering. And then we have things like amalgams, which might, we might have had and not had them removed. So that might be something that you can look at doing as well to start to reduce that toxic load. But of course, then we've got things like, our cleaning products and, like I said, the food that we're eating, and just being really mindful of things that we're putting on our skin. So all of our products and, makeups and lotions and potions, all of those things, and just making sure that they are as toxin-free as possible. Because it makes a massive difference to you, particularly if you have the MTHFR mutation. Flashing out toxins safely, so we can eat cruciferous vegetables. So this is things like rocket, arugula, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, collard greens, excrete the toxins, so drinking plenty of water. So often hydration will come up, particularly if, I find that hydration is a big one for me. Making sure that you're actually getting your trace minerals to help with that hydration as well, and then help that sort of flush out your system as well. And then we've got the detox protocols, but again, we need to be very careful with that, but with liver and gallbladder cleanses, as well as parasite cleanses as well, to help to sort of start to detoxify. And of course, we've got frequencies, don't we? So I love the parasite detox, and there's heavy metal detoxes on there. And again, we want to go low and slow with those sorts of things, because the body can go into a bit of a healing crisis around that, particularly if the body's not flushing it out properly, as it may not be doing. And remember, we have the AO scan in our hands, and it's one of the most valuable tools that we can have. So we can track all of our markers, we can choose the supplements that we need, and we can see when things are not shifting, where we might be able to shift things up again. So if you're supplementing in things, but the same things are still coming up, then you know your body's not responding in the way that it needs to be. But not only can we track, we can actually support ourselves with the frequencies as well. Like I mentioned, just then the detox frequencies, but we have so many other frequencies in there that can help to support liver, you know, all of these other amazing things. So it's not just I guess, a tracking tool. It's there to help to support us as well. Okay, so Solex have a number of products. They're aware of what this, you know, the whole MTHFR thing, and so they actually brought out a prime methylated version, and this forms one of my daily routines with the prime methylated, because it has all of the methylated Bs in there, so including the folate and all of them. So it's amazing, specifically designed for us, for those of us with it. It optimizes your cell function and life by activating the cell's natural defenses, restores the cell structure from environmental damage, and maximizes the longevity of cell life. If you haven't heard of Prime, it's basically a multivitamin, but it does have those methylated Bs in them. And so, yeah, for that, I'm very, very grateful for Solex offering that. But we also have the AO Core. So these are relatively new, and I'm sure you've heard a little bit about them, but this is a great protocol because we need all of these things to help support the gut. So this is phenomenal that this has come out. This is a greens powder, the gut. We've got our enzymes, which I won't be without. This also has your HCl in it, so it's phenomenal to help support if you keep seeing those enzymes. I'll tell you a funny story. My scan has been telling me for 3 years. I've had 3.5 years now. And it has been telling me for that long that I needed enzymes and that I needed probiotics and that I needed collagen. And I only started doing it probably not even maybe 4 or 5 months ago. So anyway, listen to your scanner, listen to your inner voice, literally listen to the imbalances and suggestions, because it's telling you all the time. So this is a phenomenal pack that helps to support the gut. And I really feel like a lot of the stuff starts with the gut, right? So when we start to get that under control, some of these other things can start to drop away. And we can also process all of those other supplements and things that we need. Okay, so here are some of the other ones. So these can come as a bundle, or you can buy them individually. We've got the Pulse. So as we heard before, cardiovascular health can be a big thing for MTHFR. Blue supports mitochondria health, so that brings, that's a massive thing as well. That's cellular respiration. D3K2 is that immune support if we're finding that that's being affected. Think and Krill, so this is for brain health and inflammation. And then the D660 band actually activates all of these supplements, okay? So it's for detoxification and supplementation. So, in activating that supplementation. So that's an amazing package. I know a lot of you would have gotten the bundle when you first signed up, so you will have your red light band, but some of these other ones, and you know, I don't take all of these every single day, but when they come up in my scanner, I know that my body's asking for them. They're all loaded in there, and I take them when I need them. Some people choose to take, you know, some of these daily, so you'll know your body, you just tune into it, but these are a phenomenal suite of products. And then of course we have all of these beauties which have just landed. Well, some of them have just landed. So we've got the foot detox, obviously that's detoxification. We've got the AO Infinity one, which can be for inflammation and detoxification. And we've also got the AO Infinity Mat now, again, inflammation, detoxification. So all of these products can be helping us to overcome some of the things that are happening with the MTHFR, or the mother trucker genetic mutation. And I think I'm at the end, so I'm going to come back in here and have a look at the chat. Beautiful. So and I'm going to bring you all back up again because I've been feeling a bit lonely here. All right, so I'm just going to have a quick look at the chat. Hopefully that's answered the question of what is it that I got from iPhone 4. Beck saying she used to have so many of these before your diagnosis. Absolutely. Poor muscle recovery and I'm hypothyroid. Yep, I feel you on that, Robin. How does it happen? Okay. Yes, it's an inherited thing, Beck. You answered that. Thank you. Meaning to get tested. Yeah, look, it's worthwhile getting the test, I think. I also think that you can start having the products and just seeing if they make a difference, because we've got the scanner that can verify that. So if you don't want to go and have a blood test, or you don't want to, spend the time doing that, then don't, but see how you feel once you've started to supplement for it accordingly, and see how the scanner starts to track that. I don't have any bad muscle recovery now because, yeah, NRF2 gene pathway has helped so much to activate that, yeah. Say no to coffee. Oh, do not say coffee. Ha ha ha. Yes, coffee, Beck, coffee. Yep. Sister had both genes and was celiac. Prime methylated for the win. Yes, it's amazing. Enzymes. Yes. Excellent. So NRF2 as well is for the Think spray or tablets. That's brilliant. Okay, I hadn't thought of that too. So do we have any other questions or comments or anything that anyone wants to add? Wow, I thought that was actually going to take a really long time, so I hope I didn't go through that too quickly.
You did awesome. Thank you.
I was trying to kind of rush it.
I learned so much, and I've had that gene for so long. I just wanted to explain a little bit for people who don't know what that NRF2 pathway is, because you can either be taking the Think spray or the Think tablets, either. But the reason that's really important for anybody with the MTHFR gene mutation is because, as you've explained in tonight's call, people can't methylate properly. They can't detoxify properly. And so the NRF2 gene pathway is responsible for a couple of different things. One, for the antioxidant enzymes, but it's also responsible for your detoxing.
Yeah.
And so that pathway is generally shut off by the time you hit around 20. And so that's why actually opening up that pathway to allow your body to detoxify better is actually, that combined with the methylated B vitamin, is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's amazing. I also just wanted to show you, because it wasn't something that I touched on, but I'm going to bring up my my vitals, because there's the it's just signing in. There's the toxific, what is it called? Hang on, I don't even know. That's not what it's called. It's not called toxification.
Under liver?
No, I'm just finding it. Hang on, I will share so you can see as I'm finding it. It's right down the bottom, but it's another area that I flick to when I am looking for issues. Toxicities, yes, it is under toxicities, but human toxins, right? Because often we will see chemical toxicity, drugs, alcohol, electromagnetic radiation, because we're not detoxing properly. Some of these things, so hair products, excitotoxins, herbicides, all of these things, pesticides, metabolic waste as well. So stress hormones, all of these things are a really good indicator as well. There's so many markers in the AO scan that can show this. So anyway, I just wanted to share that as well. Let me just check if there's any more coming up in here. Okay, so Robin said, so interesting, great. My scan for MTHFR reads 6. Is that okay? Yeah, just keep tracking it. Sorry, I don't know who's coming up as iPhone 4, but yes, track it over. I would just keep watching it, and I would also, yeah, track it from day to day. Like I said, mine will come up, perfect some days. Actually, let's have a quick look. I suspect it's not great today, but let's just see. And it shows up under, it's further down. They moved it because it used to be straight after the nutritional, but now it's under gastrointestinal, no, nutritional analysis. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. I was right. It's not good today. So you can see I'm a double 8 there, and then I went to a 9. This one did come back into balance, but you know, I could tell today I wasn't on fire. And so I had gluten yesterday. I had a very weird day I even had coffee. So yeah, and this is it. So, and you can see my bees are not very happy there as well today. So I hope that has been helpful. I have a little cheat sheet that kind of summarizes all of this. It's in 2 pages so that you're able to, when you've got, you know, when you're scanning someone, you're able to kind of just flick through that and keep that handy. Honestly, I probably don't need that anymore because I'm so used to get gut fermentation and liver detox, Linda said. Yeah, coming up all the time. That's another good one, Linda, is because we're not digesting properly. We get that gut fermentation, which can also turn up as alcohol in your system. So people might see alcohol come up and they're like, I don't drink alcohol. How can that be? That is often gut fermentation that's happening. So that will be another marker that I will look for as well. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But sorry, yes, I was sharing that I have a little cheat sheet. I don't know if I can show you, but I will forward that to everyone. So I'd love for you, if you're on the call tonight, to jump into the chat so I have a record of who it was, and maybe just share one thing that you learnt tonight, or share something that that was great from this, and I will pop that over to you all. It might be in the morning because I'm going to pick up a car tonight. So I may not get it tonight, but I will definitely send it to you. Daniela, okay, your iPhone 4, excellent. You can ask me questions as well directly, love, so that's good. Yeah, excellent. All right, guys, if there's no more questions, you can unmute if you have any questions. More than happy to try and answer any of them. I learned so much in putting this together as well. I've had it, like I say, I've known that I've had it for quite some time, but it's great to know, good knowledge to know from my kids as well. Yeah, excellent, Maria. So you learned that there are so many symptoms related to this gene mutations. Yeah, so don't pop it in this chat, pop it over in the Frequency Soul Collective chat, just so I have a record of who was on tonight, and I will forward you that little PDF so you can have that to keep. And yeah, just use it if you're scanning people and you want to, or even just yourself and your family, and you want to keep note of what it is that's coming up. Wow, I can't believe I got through that so quickly. So thank you, everyone. If there are no more questions, I'll stop the recording.